Now the wings are quite fiddly to get started, so get yourself 4 stitch markers for the 4 stitches that we need to do in the starting ring. 3 of one colour and 1 of a different colour I always use, just so I know which one is the last one. And either a magic ring and 4 single crochets into the magic ring, or do a chain 2 and then do 4 single crochets into that. And that's the method I do with this yarn, just in case the magic ring doesn't work. So I'm going to do my chain 2, and then I'm going to place 4 single crochets into the first chain I did, so not the one right by the hook, the one by the slip knot at the end. So I start the slip stitch, and before I complete the slip stitch, make sure your stitch markers are open and ready to go. I just slide this in here to mark the first stitch, the first single crochet. Then I do the second one into the same chain, and before I complete it I put on the second one. Because there are only 4 going into this magic ring or starting ring in the chain, it is just so difficult to see where the 4 different stitches are for your second row. That's why I mark each one. And then there's the third single crochet. I know this is a bit of a faff, but it actually really helps in the long run, so you definitely know where all your stitches are. Then I pull it tighter, pull the ends a bit tight, and then I do the last one on the other side of the end, and I mark that with a different colour so I know that that is the last one of the 4 that I need. So then you can see for your second row, which is just 4 more single crochets, 1 into each of these, you can see that you definitely need to go over here into this stitch, whereas you might be sort of tempted to try and find it in the middle here, but it's a lot further along than you think it's going to be. So I'm going to do my next row now, 4 single crochet, 1 into each of these, go through where the stitch marker is. Oops. Yeah, I'm in the right spot. Do the single crochet, and then just for 1 more row I mark all of these as well. So when I complete the stitch this time, I then just move the the stitch marker up. Then I do the next one into here where the second one is. Take the stitch marker out, move it up to the stitch I just did, then another one, and then when I get to the orange one I know that is the last one, and then do the last of the 4 single crochets in there. That's the end of row 2. Oops. So I've still got my 4 stitch markers in there marking each of the stitches, but as you can see the tail's coming out here, so that does mean this is inside out. So if you can just try and flip it over, get these stitch markers on the outside so that the yarn end is coming through the middle, and then you're ready to start the next row. So the next row is to do an increase into each of these stitches. So you're going up from 4 stitches in a round to 8, And we're working in the round, so you don't need to join anything, you just carry on going round. So I can tell here that this is where I'm going to put the first one, so that's where that one is coming out of at the moment, into where my stitch marker is. I just put it to the side, get both stitches done for the increase into the same place where that marker is, and then I take that marker out. Then I do the next one, 2 into there for my increase, take that one out, into the next one, that's one, and then another one, and then I know, because I'm on the orange one, that this is the last one where I need to do the increase. Oops, gone through the stitch marker as well, and then take that one out. Then you pull this a little bit tighter, not too much, because sometimes chenille can snap quite easily, so you just want to pull the hole closed, and then just double check that you've got 8. So I'm going to take that out and count. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And once you get to this row, they're a little bit more defined and easier to see. The first 2 rounds is a bit of a nightmare to see them. That's why I use these stitch markers. So pop your hook back in and then carry on and do the remaining rows, and then just sew it up at the end. And don't stuff it. Don't stuff this one. Okay,